Welcome to the final episode of this mini-series on how to launch a YouTube channel that actually helps your business. In this closing chapter, we're going to focus on the part most creators skip: how to stop wasting time recreating content and instead turn one thoughtful YouTube video into a whole ecosystem of posts that work natively on other platforms. If you want to grow without burning out, this is the playbook. Here's the deal. YouTube is where you can really sink your teeth into a topic. Long form, high value, face-to-camera content that builds trust. But once you shoot that video, you don't need to reinvent the wheel 5 different times to serve Instagram, TikTok, Pinterest, your email list, and your blog. You can take that same core content and repurpose it into things that feel natural on each platform. And the right tools make that process actually enjoyable instead of a second job. Quick story. When I was running a service business, I treated content like a web of touchpoints. People found me on Google, they saw my images on Pinterest, wedding planners recommended me, and they also stumbled onto my videos. Over time, all of those little touchpoints started to add up, and people began to assume I was the obvious choice. That's the power of showing up in multiple places consistently. You don't have to be loud about it. You just have to be everywhere your audience might look. So let's map this out. Imagine you make one strong YouTube video each week. Thoughtful topic, good editing, your personality shining through. Instead of creating 5 separate Instagram posts and a dozen stories from scratch, you convert that single video into a stack of assets that serve different goals on each platform. That's what I call content stacking, turning one long-form piece into many native performing pieces. Why it matters for business owners: you can't spend all your time marketing. You've got sales, clients, product development, and actual life stuff. If you're the kind of person who feels crushed by the idea of making original content for every platform, content stacking will free you to be strategic, creative, and sane. For me, this system has been the reason I can keep posting consistently without it eating my day. Here's a practical breakdown of the stack I use and how you could adapt it. The source: one long-form horizontal YouTube video per week. This is where you put your best thinking and presence. From that I get a polished blog post, SEO-friendly, an email newsletter that teases the content and drives people to watch, several short-form clips for Instagram Reels, TikTok, YouTube Shorts, and a suite of story graphics for Instagram and Facebook. Pinterest gets pins that link back to the blog. Each piece is formatted so it feels native to the platform it lives on. You might be thinking, who does all that? Answer: you can or you don't have to. Ideally, you ideate, outline, and film the videos. That's the part only you can do with authenticity. Everything else can be delegated or semi-automated. Editing, clip selection, headline writing, pin creation, scheduling. All of that is transferable. This is where smart editing tools come in. Instead of manually scrubbing footage for clips, guessing what will work, or paying an editor to hunt through hours for good moments, the tool auto-detects the moments that are most likely to resonate and turns them into ready-to-post clips. It reduces the guesswork and cuts the time drain in half. But don't hear me saying just auto everything. The magic is in combining a thoughtful creator process with smart automation. You still set the strategy and voice. The tools do the heavy lifting so you can scale without becoming a full-time editor. Let me walk you through how I actually do this now, step by step. 1. Ideation and filming. I spend a small chunk of time planning ideas each month, then batch film. A realistic rhythm for me is about 4 hours a month of planning plus filming. Yes, seriously. That's it for the core content creation. Keep the topics aligned to your audience's problems and the keywords you want to rank for on YouTube. 2. Auto-clipping. Upload your raw video to the tool or drop the transcript. The AI finds engaging moments, trims them into clips optimized for different aspect ratios, and even suggests text overlays and hooks you can use on Reels and Shorts. It's the difference between spending hours hunting for moments and getting a library of potential posts in minutes. 3. Repurpose to long-form channels. The same transcript gets turned into an SEO-optimized blog post. You can either use your editor to polish it or leverage AI copy assistants that turn spoken content into readable, search-friendly copy. That blog post becomes a home base you can link to from Pinterest or email. 4. Short-form distribution and scheduling. Once you have clips, schedule them. The tool's auto-schedule functionality lets you pick how often you want posts to go live and then queues them across platforms. That means you can put posting on autopilot without losing consistency. You don't have to babysit every post, just set the cadence. 5. Content calendar and oversight. Use the content calendar to manage what's going out and when. If a clip performs well, pin it for reposts. If not, archive it. The calendar is your single pane of glass, so you don't have to juggle multiple apps. If you compare that workflow to traditional setups, the difference is obvious. Tools like Descript are great for transcripts and editing, but they still require a lot of manual selecting and exporting if you want a batch workflow. Or you might be tempted to use an all-in-one social scheduler that doesn't actually help you find viral moments in your footage, it just posts what you give it. Or you hire an editor who's great but expensive, and then you still have to direct the repurposing. Those approaches work, but they either cost a lot or take a lot of your time and attention. The tool, by contrast, aligns 3 things creators care about. It finds the viral clips, it schedules them automatically, and it gives you a calendar to control the flow. That's the 3-headed combo that makes weekly content stacking practical for creators who are also business owners. It doesn't replace your creative voice, it amplifies it. Now, a few more practical tips to make this even easier. Templates. Create Canva templates for story templates, thumbnails, and Pinterest pins so your assistant can plug and play visuals without losing your brand vibe. AI-assisted copy. Use AI to draft an email newsletter or caption, then edit to add personality. You'll save time and keep your voice intact. Outsource the tedious stuff. If you can hire one person to edit, schedule, and repurpose, do it. I promise that hour a week you give up is worth more than the cost for the sanity and time gained. Batch everything. Film as much as you can in one session, then cue your editing and repurposing. Your future self will thank you. A couple real-world numbers to make this concrete. One of my team members spends about an hour a week taking a single YouTube video and turning it into reels, shorts, stories, and a blog post. Video editing might add another hour or 2 depending on how hands-on you are. Compare that to the days it used to take when we manually crafted each platform's content from scratch. The ROI is huge. We're also in a moment where AI assistants can do more than just transcribe. They can generate short-form ideas, write a blog first draft, and even suggest on-screen text that fits the rhythm of your clip. But don't outsource your soul. Use these tools to accelerate the parts of the process that are time-sucking, and then add your human finishing touches. Now about competing tools, some platforms promise similar things but lock you into steep subscriptions, or a rigid workflow that's not built for creators who pivot between platforms. Others give you scheduling but not the clip discovery, or they'll give you clip discovery but no content calendar. And many cheaper options produce generic results that require a ton of cleanup. That's why it's worth choosing a solution that actually solves the 3 big pain points simultaneously: discover, schedule, and organize. That said, the best system is the one you'll actually use. Start small, commit to 1 long video a week, try auto-clipping with a tool like this, and schedule a few clips to go out automatically. Keep a short weekly review to see what's working and tweak from there. A few closing notes on mindset. YouTube is a long game. You're not doing this to get rich overnight. You're building an asset that compounds. The repurposing system is not a shortcut to avoid creating quality content. It's the way to amplify quality. By showing up in multiple places, you increase the odds someone sees you and recognizes you later when they're ready to buy. If you're doing this as a business owner, ask yourself, are you spending your creative hours where they matter most? If not, start stacking. Batch your filming. Use auto-clipping to find the gold. Let scheduling take care of distribution. And keep a content calendar so nothing falls through the cracks. Outsource the busy work. Use templates. Use AI to speed up copy and blog drafts. And most importantly, protect the time you spend on being the visionary. All right, that's the content stacking framework. If you want me to break any step down, like how to actually write captions that convert, how to craft a newsletter that drives views, or how to build a simple brief for a virtual assistant, drop a comment or shoot me a message. I'll make a follow-up that walks through exact prompts, templates, and examples you can copy. Thanks for watching this series. I've loved putting this together, and I hope it helps you get more strategic and less stressed. If you haven't already, try taking one of your recent long videos, plug it into an auto-clipping tool, and see how many posts you can get out of it this week. You might be surprised by how much reach you can build from just one authentic piece of content. See you next week. And if you're curious about tools that can help with this flow, auto-clip, auto-schedule, content calendar, I'll link a few options in the description. Try them out, and remember, create less, amplify more. Bye for now.